What's up, y'all? This episode of Sports Spectrum's What's Up podcast is brought to you by Jesus One Apparel. In sports, we train for victory, we push through adversity, we fight through pain to win. But here's the most important truth. The greatest victory has already been won. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." That's the verse that inspired Jesus One Apparel. This brand is built on one simple, bold message. Jesus won because on the cross, Jesus defeated sin. He conquered death. He secured forgiveness. He made a way for eternal life. His victory means that we don't fight for the win. We live from victory and love. Jesus One Apparel exists to start conversations about Jesus through a t-shirt, a hoodie, and a hat. It's more than clothing. It's a declaration of faith. It's a bold step. It's an opportunity to represent Christ wherever you train, compete, work, or live. If you're ready to wear the victory and spark conversations that matter, visit JesusOneApparel.com and use code SportsSpectrum for 20% off your next order. What is up? We got Auburn baseball on the podcast today. Ryne Farber and Christian Chatterton. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited, and I'll get us started with the first question that I ask every guest on the What's Up podcast. I usually ask people what they're all about at the moment, but since you both are on here together, I guess we'll do something fun. So, Ryan, I'll start with you. What is something that Christian always listens to, eats, has with him, or that he's all about right now?
Ooh. Okay, I would say something he's all about that he's always with would be his girlfriend, Lily. But she's fantastic. They're awesome, and she's a good time. But Lily,
that's a perfect thing to be all about. I love it. And Christian, I'll turn it back to you. What is something that Ryan is all about right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna say sleep tools. He's got a sleep mask.
Okay.
The nose strip when he sleeps. Am I missing anything?
Toe spacers.
Mouth tape.
Mouth tape.
Spacers.
Okay,
So.
toe spacers.
Yeah. Gotta get the feet in alignment.
Okay.
For as much time as you can.
Is that a baseball helper thing? Is that like an athlete thing? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was just kind of something I heard about that I thought I'd try, and it's supposed to, I guess, help you stay healthy. And we're always trying to stay healthy, and so I'll try as much as I can.
Christian, how many other guys on the team do the toe spacers?
I think he's the only one.
Okay.
It's something like I've heard of and I've seen people do before. I think the idea is like shoes are very narrow and your toes over time get like squeezed in together, I guess. So I don't know, this guy's big on it.
Hey, you are further in advance and more progressive than any of us, and I definitely I'm learning something new, so I love it. But I want to talk about this year's Auburn baseball team. Ryan, do you have a favorite memory so far with this team this season?
I would say our weekend in Dallas. That was a 3-0 weekend. Got the first travel trip with the fellas. Is always fun. Get to be on the road with everybody and playing in a big league stadium. And we had a lot of guys who had really incredible performances. Bristol Carter, Brandon McCrane, Ethan Bingaman. And you go down there, play 3 really good teams, and leave with 3 wins. I would say that is my favorite moment so far.
Sounds really fun. And baseball and softball are sports in college, I think, that have to be the hardest travel schedules. You all probably barely even go to school. So, Christian, what is this team like on the road?
Yeah, so we've only had 1 road trip so far, and it was a lot of fun. Like he said, it was probably the most fun we've had yet this season. The bus rides are fun, lots of different games going on, and then, I think it's just a fun group of guys to be around.
Ryan, what are some of those games that you all like to do on the road?
I think the biggest one is Mafia. So if you know, you know. If you don't, I'll try to explain it. Basically, like Among Us, the game on the phone, in person. It's a good time.
Mafia is so fun, and it can get heated. People can get hurt, and you're in an enclosed environment like a bus. I'm guessing, is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got nowhere to hide. But that is fun. And Christian, take me into the dugout, because I think what's so fun to see about baseball teams is just the fun that a lot of teams have, even if they're not on the field. So what is the Auburn dugout like?
Yeah, I like to think that we have the best dugout in the country. We do a lot of different things. We actually have dugout rankings, ranking each guy based on how much you cheer, how many memes you spam during the game, and just like overall how good you are in the dugout. But that's
Okay.
something we take a lot of pride in. And I would say more than most college baseball teams, we are just extremely loud.
Okay, you got to take me to the rankings a little bit more, Ryan. Describe a little bit more about this and maybe the homework that it takes to have all those memes ready.
Yeah. I'll start by saying chat does the rankings. So there's S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, F tier. And S tier is really tough to get into unless you make the rankings yourself. So he's an S tier every time. And then trying to remember the memes, it's tough. For me, I'm not the most plugged into the meme space. And so I kind of got to hear them, and then I can repeat them once I hear them for the first time.
You're a reuser.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not too original.
Well, Christian, I heard Ryan called you Chat, and so I'm assuming there's a nickname for Ryan. Is there?
We really just call him by his last name. Most people spell it Ryan, but he likes to be different. So
I was one of them. Yes, I spelled Ryan's name incorrectly.
yeah. So sometimes it confuses me too. So I just kind of call him his last name.
I like it. Well, something really cool that I've seen about you both is that you host a podcast called Plainsman Podcast with both of you. And from what I've seen, it's talking about a lot of things, not only just baseball, but your faith in Jesus. Ryan, I've maybe seen you give some shout outs and one time maybe explaining the process of photosynthesis. I'm not really sure. So Ryan, can you explain what this podcast is?
Yeah. So me and Chad and Saxon were sitting around one day, and we were just kind of talking, and we were like, well, what would happen if we just put a camera in front of ourselves and just talked? Like, I think people would enjoy listening to our conversations. And that kind of developed into giving people a behind the scenes look at kind of the Auburn baseball program and who we are as people, not just baseball players. And our faith is incredibly important to us. And we wanted to make sure that we highlighted our faith in that as well. And for us, it's just something fun to get away from the game, something to look forward to outside of the field. And when we're stressed playing baseball, we have that to look forward to. And when things are going well playing baseball, it's super fun to get to record a podcast with your teammates as well.
So fun. And you have so much going on, though, too, especially in season. For you, Christian, why was it important for you to start this podcast?
Yeah, I think just kind of the same thing he just said, which I'll say this too. It's a little harder in season. We've been slacking a little bit. Not a lot of free time.
Well, here's your free ad. Here's your free ad, and then before it comes out, you can do a little more content.
Yeah,
There we go.
We need
there we go. But I'd say, like he said, it's just good to have something other than the game to think about, like another hobby almost. And all three of us really enjoy doing it, so it's a lot of fun. And then also, like he said, like we'll be just having conversations, and just one day I was like, what if we just recorded this and put it out on YouTube? And I'd say we've had a lot of fun with it.
There you go. And the third member of your team is Saxon. Is that correct?
Saxon Roberts, yep.
Awesome. And for you all three to go into any type of, whether it's a funny business or a real business, you got to have a good connection with those teammates and those friends and who you're doing it with. So Ryan, for you, what is the relationship between you three?
Yeah, I mean, we're super, super close. Chat and Sax live 2 floors below me, and I say that when I'm home, they're in my living room or I'm in theirs. And it's just, for me being a transfer, and these were 2 guys that I immediately was drawn towards and took me in and treated me really well. And so, yeah, I would say that we're as close as they come.
That's awesome. And Christian, for you, I know you've had a ton of episodes already come out, but is there a favorite episode or guest that you've had on the show?
Man, I'm going to give a shout out to Lucas Steele. I think he was our second guest on the podcast, and I think he still might be my favorite.
Shout out.
There you go.
Shout out Big Riz.
Big Riz is up there.
Yep.
And I'll give another shout out to LJ and Justice. I'd say those are probably top 3.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Lots of shout outs for the podcast. And Ryan, I have to ask about the name of the podcast, Plainsman Podcast. How did that come about?
Yeah. So we play in Plainsman Park. And so we were just like brainstorming, what are we going to call it? And I don't remember who came up with that. I don't know if I can take credit or if he can take credit. But we were like, that just kind of rolls off the tongue nicely, Plainsman Podcast. Yeah. So we just kind of rolled with it.
There, you can get some park sponsorships from that as well.
We've been trying.
I think it's really cool doing the episodes that I've seen that you all do on the field. I think it's so awesome. And what a cool recruiting tool, too, and in a backhanded way for young athletes to see, hey, you know, these guys are all about baseball. They want to play at the highest level. They want to win the national championship, but like they can also have fun and kind of take the intensity down when you're not in practice time. So I love that. But I do want to talk about your individual stories. Christian, you're a sophomore here at Auburn coming off a really strong freshman season. Would you mind just describing what it was like to take the mound for the first time in an Auburn jersey?
Yeah, it was awesome. I committed to Auburn my freshman year of high school, so it was kind of like a super long way for me to actually get here and be pitching in the uniform. But last season was awesome, and there was a lot of ups and downs, but I think all that definitely just helped me grow in my faith with the Lord, and I've loved it here, every single minute of it.
Long times between committing and actually getting there, which is exciting because you have something to look forward to, but I can imagine the pressure that comes with the moment when you finally get there. When you get to the mound and you're about to start pitching, what's maybe something that you do to help you fix your eyes on the Lord and just get your mind right to play?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time before the game, like mentally preparing and praying. This is something that I really started doing last year because, you know, in high school, like there's not a ton of pressure. Like every single guy that plays for our team was probably the best player on their high school team. And then you get here and it's like almost like a little shock. Like everybody's just as good as you. Suddenly, like your confidence probably isn't as high. So like prayer before I go out on the mound and when I'm warming up in the outfield is definitely something I've really drawn to.
So important. I love to hear that. And for you, Ryan, you mentioned it earlier just about how your teammates have helped you with the transition, but this is your first season at Auburn. What really has the transition been like for you on the baseball field?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny for me to hear him talk about the long time he had from when he committed to when he got here. I was at Texas State for 2 years and got on the transfer portal, and I was committed 4 days later. So I had about 356 times less of like getting to know the coach.
I don't know the math. Christian, is that right? I don't know.
I have no idea.
If he had 4 years and I had 4 days, we'll say
that's why I'm podcasting. I don't know math, so I was like totally joking.
I could be completely wrong. But yeah, just building relationships really fast, and you just kind of get thrown into everything, and so thrown into the fire, and that's why it was so important for me to gravitate to good guys like Chad. And I think for my process, my faith was so important to me because I wanted to come play for great people who were men of faith. And I mean, shout out to the coaching staff here. They're incredible people who not just focus on baseball, but also they want to lead you into being great young men for the Lord. And so that was a huge reason I decided to come to Auburn.
And Ryan, so many athletes, I feel like more than ever, are going through the transfer portal process. How did you lean on your faith during that time when probably there were a lot of decisions to be made?
Yeah, I mean, even before getting in the portal, it's the decision to take a jump, and that requires faith. And so, I mean, it's just prayer. And I'm very fortunate that the Lord has blessed me with an incredible support system. My parents and other people surrounding me. And so it's individual prayer, and it's reaching out to my support system, and also my support system being in prayer. And yeah, once you're in, it's trying to build relationships as fast as you can. And yeah, I think just leaning on the Lord and taking the time to get advice from people you trust is, I think, two things that really, really helped me navigate what could be really, really tricky.
Definitely. And I love that you both have just sought out prayer and people around you. And it's so cool to hear how quickly your community formed when you got to Auburn. And now you're already hosting a podcast with some guys on the field. It's pretty cool. But something else that I think is so awesome about Auburn your baseball team specifically is your team chaplain, Mason Manners, was actually a player at Auburn, which is just so cool that he gets to now lead your team in that way. So, Christian, for you, what impact has he had on your experience there?
Yeah, Mason, he does an unbelievable job. And like you said, it's kind of crazy. Like 3 years ago, he's playing for Auburn, and he was also like really good here. So, but yeah, I think he's done a great job. He's somebody that we can all go to talk about faith and other stuff too. And I think this team is also special in the way that like a lot of our guys on our team are just like all in for Jesus. And I think a lot of that credit has to go to Mason for sure.
And Ryan, for you, you've experienced not being at Auburn, but now being at Auburn. What has it been like to experience that faith on the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to have so many like-minded people to where you don't have to go outside of the stadium to find people to grab a hold to help grow in your faith. There's community here. And I mean, talking about Mason, like he's been an incredible resource to me and to everybody else. Like there was a day yesterday or a couple days ago, we're in the outfield and outside of like team Bible studies, like he just comes up and he'll talk to you. He wants to know how you're doing, wants to know how your walk is going. And yeah, it's just, I think community is so important, and to have people that are all wanting to be great baseball players, but more importantly, be great people and to grow towards the Lord it's awesome.
Community is so important, especially when you're playing at the highest level, like you all are trying to compete for a national championship, which is so exciting. But there comes adversity with that, right? And Christian, you mentioned just the highs and lows, even for you to start college. I'd love to know just throughout your early career so far, what has it looked like for you to really rely on your faith and put your trust in God while also trying to be like the most intense competitor on the baseball field?
Yeah, I've learned a lot, especially in the past couple of years. Like, I think so many athletes are guilty of letting the game they play determine their mood for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Like last season early on, like when I pitched good, like I was the happiest guy in the world. And then when I pitched bad, it was like just terrible, like terrible mood. Like I didn't want to play anymore. But like after a couple bad outings, I finally just got to the point where like I just felt like I had to give everything to God. And like I just started praying like, God, like I give it all to you. Like no matter what happens in my baseball career, like doesn't matter to me. Like whatever plans you have for me, just use me. And ever since then, I think it's been a lot easier because even on my bad days, like I still know like everything that matters is in Jesus and just not in this game.
That's awesome. And that takes like repping out time with the Lord for you to be like, I'm actually going to trust you, right? Because I think it's so easy to say like, okay, God, I'm going to give it to you. But like what you're really saying is like, that is a full surrender and you are really putting your trust in someone who you believe in. And for you, Ryan, has your baseball career shown you moments of feeling happy when you play well and maybe just wanting to like hide when you don't as well?
Yeah, I mean, baseball is a game that it's a game of failure, right? Like you're gonna fail, and I've failed plenty, and I've had days where I didn't. And for me, my faith is so important in that because I always come back to the quote of God doesn't call us to be successful, he calls us to be faithful. And if I'm faithful to him, then I'm being successful. And I can't control outcomes on the field. Like he controls outcomes on the field. All I can control is my preparation and being the man that he wants me to be. And outside of that, I just kind of have to let go. And when you can do that, it makes failing a lot easier, and it can make success sweeter as well. But just because I'm saying that, in no way am I perfect. That is extremely hard to live out, and it's a constant battle every day to surrender those things to him.
That's an amazing quote, and your story there just made me think. I recently was hosting something, and I had prepared for it. I knew exactly what I was going to say. I knew exactly who I was going to introduce, and I just blanked. Like no words came out of my mouth. I just was like, my brain and my mouth were not syncing up, and I was so upset about it. Like it was like a major fail. And I remember thinking, okay, like I prepared, I practiced, I had it written down, like all the things, and like God like allowed that to happen. I'm like, God, you allowed me to like have that terrible moment, and He's teaching me something through it. And And so I think that's like a really amazing way to frame it. And the best thing that you can do and to glorify the Lord is to put your best foot forward, whether you're in the dugout not playing or you're out there on the mound trying to win the game for your team. And so I think that is so awesome. And Christian, for you to be able to really walk that out, like I said earlier, you have to rep it and you have to make it part of your every week, your every day. What does that look like for you to find time to spend with the Lord and put your eyes on the Lord in the midst of a crazy season?
Yeah, I think we were actually just talking about this a couple of weeks ago before the season started, but like, especially when we're in season, like it's very easy to like, oh, one day you're at the field all day and you don't have time to read your Bible, you just do it tomorrow. And then next day you also don't have time. And next thing you know, it's like 2 weeks, you haven't been in the Word. And like, but yeah, I just think like you have to make a daily decision that that's just what you're going to do that day, whether that's spending less time on your phone or less time hanging out with the boys. Like, I think it's extremely important to find that time every single day. And then like, it also makes it a lot easier when I have somebody like Farbs and then like Saxon, the other guys on our team who are so faith driven, like we just hold each other accountable. So I think having friends like that is extremely important.
And for you, Ryne, what has helped you, fill your cup so that you can go pour out to your teammates?
Yeah, for me, it starts with my morning routine. Every day I wake up and I'm going to get in the Word, I'm going to do a devotional, and I'm going to pray. And that could be 5 minutes, and then I got to rush out and get to class or practice, or it could be 30. It's just finding whatever time I need. And I feel like when I start my day that way, it allows me to be more of the person He wants me to be every day. And so, yeah, like he said, it's a daily decision, and having people like him that are doing the same things and hold each other accountable to that. Like we have group chats where we're checking in and making sure that everybody is doing what they said they were going to be doing and what we all know that we need to be doing. And so, yeah, it's just a decision every day, and it doesn't have to be an hour, and it doesn't have to be a set time block of I'm going to do this, this, and this. God doesn't, he doesn't care if it's a set perfect thing every day. He just wants a relationship with you.
That's so good. That's a great reminder. I saw something on like TikTok recently. This girl was crying. She was like, Christianity is not an aesthetic. And she was like, this is hard. And even just like, yes, like I'm such a girly girl. Like I love color coding things. I like having cute pens, like all the things, right? But like, if I'm worried about how good my notes on my Bible are, like that's not the point. If I'm worried about like how cute the photo is or the verse that I'm posting on Instagram story, like it's not about the aesthetic of Christianity. It's not about like, oh, well, if I did it Monday and I missed today, like my Bible plan is over if I miss today, right? Like it's not about that. And so I love that reminder because especially when you play a college sport, nothing's ever going to look the way it is. We were going to do this podcast a couple hours before and you're like, oh, now our practice switch and all things. Like you got to be able to just like get with the Lord whenever and however and whatever it looks like. And so I absolutely love that. And something else that I have thought is so cool about baseball is that, you get to pick your walk-up song and maybe your walk-up song to the mound as well. And I've heard a lot of Christian walk-up songs, especially this season. So Christian, for you, number one, do you have a walk-up song to the mound? And number two, what has that been like for you to maybe experience some players who have Christian walk-up songs?
Yeah, I do have one. It's called Give Me Jesus by Highlands Worship. And we were just talking about this the other day as well. Like, I think we might lead the country in worship Christian songs to go into the game. I think we,
you're the rules maker and you're the one saying we're the best dugout and we lead the country. And it's all checking out. It's all checking out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if that stuff is true or not. Maybe I just like to say it, but I think we took it as
nobody's counting it right now, so you have full right to claim it.
That's true.
Yeah. We're going to claim that one. I think that he's right.
Yeah.
I'll have Sports Spectrum make a graphic. Number one in most Christian walk-up songs in the NCAA. Breaking news.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we just kind of took it as an opportunity to like the fans are forced to listen to that song when we play it. So I think like it's almost like a way that we can spread the word. And I don't know. Some fans might go home not thinking much about it, but I think we just kind of took it as an opportunity to spread the word.
I love that. And Ryne, what has that been like for you just to have the opportunity to maybe hear your teammates have those type of songs?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, when especially for the pitchers, right? Like their song is played for 2 minutes. And like he said, the fans have to listen to it, whether they want to or not. So they're getting to hear the gospel, whether they want to or not, even if it's just for 2 minutes. And it's super cool for me to see because it's guys using the platform that God has given them to glorify him. And it's super easy to want to have the coolest walk-up song where everybody's going to think that like I'm the best, right? And self-glorification. But to see we have 4 pitchers and then myself who run out to songs that glorify Jesus, like it's taking the light that could be shining on you and shining it on him. And I think it's incredible.
It's also really similar to what you're saying and is spending, even if it's 2 minutes of your Plainsman podcast that you're doing, talking about your faith or talking about Jesus, like you're acknowledging him in everything that you do. And, not everyone has to have a Christian music walk-up song and whatever it is to deem, that you're a believer, right? Like that doesn't mean anything. But I love that you're choosing intentionally to acknowledge him in all the things that you all are doing, which is pretty special. But I know that to get to Auburn baseball and to be able to be on this team, it takes a lot. And so, Christian, would you just mind maybe describing what the biggest change in your game has been? Maybe it's been in college, or maybe it's something that you changed in high school, or even just youth baseball, because so many young athletes might listen to this and want to wear a jersey like you all are wearing one day. What's been the biggest change and jump that you've made in your game that you've seen has really helped you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely my mental game. Like that's not something a lot of people think about, and it's nothing I thought about in high school. Because like I said earlier, like most of the guys on our team right now were probably the best player on their high school team, and confidence was easy then when you're the best. And then you show up to school, show up to campus, and then everybody's just as good as you. So that can take a toll on your confidence. So I think spending time like getting mentally ready before the game, like thinking positive thoughts throughout the week. Like, I think just like my mental game and how I go about things every day definitely changed. And then also, like I said earlier, like I think my faith definitely plays a bigger role now than what it did a few years ago when it comes to baseball. And I think that's just, everything I'm doing is for God. And yeah.
And Ryne, you have one more year on Christian in college baseball. What's been the biggest change or difference in your game?
I think physicality, and that's just something that's preached to young athletes. You got to be in the weight room, if you want to play D1, you got to be X pounds and blah, 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 blah. And to a certain extent, that's true. I got to campus my freshman year, I was 150 pounds, and there was no way I was ever going to be able to play if I didn't put on weight. So I think for young athletes who want to play at this level, it's buying into the weight room as young as you can and eat a lot of food, because when you eat food and you work out, you put on weight.
Food is a big part of that. So what's the number one snack on Auburn baseball right now that everybody's liking?
I would say the dried mangoes, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, I'm out on those. So I was going to say that.
You OD'd on those.
Yeah, I typically go they got muffins for us in our transition room, and those typically go pretty quick as well.
The best.
What kind of muffins?
They've got chocolate chip,
blueberry,
and then my favorite is the banana nut muffin. That's the only one I touch.
You're not messing with the blueberry.
I'm not messing with the other ones.
I think the blueberry's the best, so I think that's kind of a hot take.
So, well, you all can discuss it on your podcast at some point, but that is important. When you said physicality, I'm like, wait a second, I don't remember how much physicality there is in baseball, but that is important. Like just the physical for your own individual being is so important. And Christian, when you think about the training that you do in the off season and all those hard workouts with friends, but also just alone, what's maybe one drill or form of cross training or just one self-help care, active recovery thing that you have done throughout your time getting ready to go to college and now in college that you would say, hey, this has made the biggest game changer for my game as a pitcher?
Yeah, I would say in the weight room, deadlifts and reverse lunges. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those. And then something that's super underrated and that most athletes probably don't get enough of is sleep. I think the best recovery tool you can possibly get is sleep. And it's really hard, especially when you're playing a college sport, you're taking classes. It's very easy to end up getting 5-6 hours of sleep. But just like getting the word, you got to make time for it too.
You got to make time for it. And if you have any questions about sleep, you can ask Ryan. He's got the sleep mask, the toe spacers. Ryan, is it a silk mask? Is it a weighted mask? Which eye mask do you have?
It's a $8 2-pack on Amazon, whatever that is.
Hey, that works too. That works too. But let me put you on the weighted eye mask. That thing, when I wear that thing, I'm not waking up. So
Okay.
that could add to your game. But just as I asked Christian the question about, off-season training, and that I know also, especially in season, comes with sacrifices. And when you think about the sacrifices that you've had to make to be an elite athlete and to get to the place that you are at now with Auburn baseball, what's maybe some encouragement or advice you would give to that young baseball player who might want to go to hang out with their friends on the weekend, but they're debating between that and a travel tournament, or they got to get up for a 5 a.m. workout, or, just when you think about all of the sacrifices you can make, what comes to mind?
Yeah. I mean, I think that just like time, obviously, like if you want to be great at something, you have to be willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And so it's just taking the extra step every day. Like I've heard it before, like 1% of a day is like 14 minutes and 24 seconds. And so like I try to have 14:24 every day of like, this is something that I'm going to focus on today and get 1% better at. It doesn't have to be like a 3-hour a day regiment of like, this is what I'm going to do. It's just being intentional for a short amount of time every day to get a little bit better every day. And over time, you'll stack days and good things will happen.
I feel like I'm learning all these like motivational quotes I need to like write down. They're so good. And so, Christian, for you, is there maybe a phrase or something that your team has really gotten behind this year?
Yeah, I don't have, the same amount of quotes this guy has. I'm not good on the quote game. Yeah, I think attack, legacy, vision has kind of been like our theme for this season. And yeah, shout out to Coach Thompson for that.
And Ryan, what does that really mean to you and to your team?
Yeah, I think attack is, we're going to attack every day, every moment, everything that we do, we're going to give our undivided attention and get after it as hard as we can. Legacy, it's bigger than baseball. It's the type of people we want to be, as well as a legacy on the field. And then vision is, how are we going to get there? So what are the steps we're going to take every day, and what are the pillars we're going to live by to get there daily?
I love the word legacy. And when I think back to my college lacrosse experience, there were so many little moments and even some big moments when a teammate just had my back, or they poured into me spiritually, or they just like gave me a tap on the back literally after like a terrible rep that I had. And it changed the trajectory of my practice or my week or how I thought about myself as a player. For each of you, I'd love to know, with that legacy and the relationships that you have on the team, is there a specific moment that you can point to, maybe this year or even last year, that you say, man, that teammate had my back, and like that was such a big moment for me? It might have been small, it might have been big, but you'll never forget that?
Yeah, I think for me, it's Saxon Roberts. He's with me all last season, so he saw the ups and the downs that I went through. And I went through a rough stretch where I had 3 games in a row that were probably the worst 3 games I've ever pitched. And, he just kept building me up, reminding me that like it was just a small stretch out of a long season. And he's always been somebody I could go to for that stuff.
And Ryan, what would that moment be for you?
Yeah, I think for me, we were playing Nebraska earlier this season, and first play of the game, balls hit to me, I make an error, and it's like, dang, like that's not how you want to start the game. And I heard 20 plus guys in the dugout like cheering me on. And for a moment when the game could easily speed up.
The best dugout in the country.
That's
the
right.
best dugout.
I think that
the loudest.
best dance moves, best memes, loudest dugout. I think we won all of them. And it was like everybody was just like, next one's coming. And a moment where I felt like the game could have spiraled out of control for me, it kind of slowed back down and then run off the field. And people are patting me on the back, like, next one's coming, you're good. Like we got you. And so I think that's the culture that Coach Thompson has built here, and the players have kind of embodied is, everybody's behind each other. And for that moment, for me, it was awesome.
That is so cool. I love hearing that because I think a lot of athletes can relate to that. And a lot of people can relate to moments when you're like, just like, no, this is the worst feeling ever in your stomach and your teammates have your back. There is no better feeling. But Christian, a lot of people are going to be watching your team on TV now and throughout the rest of the season. What's maybe one thing that even the biggest Auburn baseball fan doesn't know about your team this year?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You can phone a friend too.
Man, I might have to think on that one for a second. I would say I would go back to the best dugout in the country thing, but I think all of our fans here in the stadium probably know that already. So, I would say I don't know. Do you have anything for that?
I would say what they might not know yet, but they probably will know soon.
A
is that
tease.
Our team song right now would be a song that I heard for the first time ever, like 4 days ago. And quite honestly, I don't think it's a very good song. It's called the Percolator.
Yep. Yeah.
The Percolator, and if there's a video out on Instagram now, so it will be, if it's not known yet, it will be.
Yep.
But every time a new pitcher is brought in our stadium, that song is played and a dance party erupts in our dugout.
There you go. Okay, what was it called? The Percolator?
Yeah.
Is this a popular song? Should I know this song? Would I know it if I heard it?
It was very popular like 10 years ago. Like I think the song is like 15 years old, and for some reason we just started playing it. I think
All right.
I think that word means like frying toast, or it's like something extremely random, or something about coffee or something like that. So very random song, but it works.
It works. I'm going to look it up right after this. And my last question for each of you. I've never been to Auburn. It's on my bucket list. I got to get there at some point, and I'm sure there are some people listening to this who also haven't been. So for someone who is going to Auburn, and there might be around the school or around the baseball facility, what's the one spot they should go? It could be just a place on campus. It could be a restaurant, your go-to spot. Where should they go?
That's a great question.
I'm going to say Jack Brown's. There are different Jack Browns across Alabama, I think, but not a super popular food chain. Best burgers I've ever had. So
is there a specific burger that people should get?
I think it's called a Tom Brady. It's just like burger, mac and cheese, chips, and then I put ketchup and mustard on it too.
I doubt Tom Brady will ever eat that or has ever eaten that. I don't know why they're calling it that, but hey, it sounds good, and definitely we'll have to give it a try. Ryan, what is that place or spot for you?
I think for me, it's campus. Just walk around campus. It's beautiful. We are very fortunate about our campus. Like even we're looking out at our field right here, and it's just beautiful. So I think if you're going to visit Auburn, schedule a block of an hour, hour and a half, and just walk around campus.
Walk around campus, get to the baseball field. You might see the Plainsman Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy schedule to sit down with us on Sports Spectrum. It's so cool to hear your heart behind the athlete that we get to talk to, and we're cheering you on the rest of the season.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.